Hey everybody, welcome back to the Health Bridge. This is Dr. Pedram Shojai, and I am here with Dr. Sarah Gottfried. Hello, Sarah.
Hey Pedram, hi everybody.
Hey, so we got a couple announcements to make first, and so I'll do that before I jump in because I tend to just roll and not stop. So let's make a couple announcements first. I'll let you run with that, Sarah.
Yeah. So I wanted to tell everybody that we finally have set up a resource page at our website. So you can go to healthbridgeshow.com/resources. Now, what do we have there? We've got the favorite books that we've been talking about. We also have transcripts. We're getting transcripts in there of all of our shows. So check out healthbridgeshow.com/resources to get all this info that we've been talking about. Recipes, videos, books, transcripts.
Yeah, that's right. We've been writing a lot of checks with our mouths here, and so we had to kind of put it all online for you guys. Because, we have a lot of people. I mean, I was just thinking the other day, like Dave Asprey dropped so many nuggets in the whatever 40 minutes we had him on. It was like, God, if we're not taking notes, someone should be. And the good news is we are. We got transcripts, so you can just go ahead and download the whole thing and take a look at it. So that's exciting because we are building that out for you guys. We're excited to have it as a resource because at the end of the day, we all need our watering holes, right? We all got to know where we get our information. And the challenge is, there's a lot of garbage out there on the internet. And so we're trying to kind of curate some of that for you guys, because it's one thing to go to your conventional doctor and be told to take drugs and do things the old-fashioned way. It's another thing to then say, well, I'm not going to do that, and then be a cowboy and just buy a bunch of supplements from random people on the internet. And I think there's probably a middle path that might be a little more sane. So we're here to help people with that as much as we can.
Amen. We all need our watering holes. I'm writing that down.
So one of the things that came up, and we've been getting a lot of questions and comments from people, and so we're trying to be responsive there, is people want to know what our morning rituals were. And so, just like how do you roll, Sarah? What do you do? What happens, first thing in the Gottfried house, and same on this side. So we thought that we'd dedicate a whole show to that because it's a lifetime of trial and error that has led to, say, the stuff that I do in the morning. And some days it doesn't work, and you kind of roll with it when you get a little screaming child. But for the most part, the things I do because they've proven to work. Because if you could speculate all you want, at the end of the day, is it helping your day or not? So how about we start with you, ladies first? Can we get into, do you want to just go like volley all the way, like do everything you do and then we'll go back to me, or do you want to go like tit for tat?
Well, I like this Mars and Venus thing that we go back and forth. So I would say let's do that. As you were talking, I was actually thinking about Wayne Dyer. Did you see his film, The Shift?
I haven't seen that.
Okay, you got to see it, because one of the things he does, here's one of his morning rituals. He gets up in the morning, and as soon as he puts his feet on the floor, like he's still sitting on the side of the bed, feet on floor, he says, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." And I love it. It's this beautiful moment in the film, where you see his cute feet on the floor. And Pedram, I just have to say, that's not how I wake up. Like, I wish I woke up that way. But I don't wake up, like brimming with gratitude. And, that's part of the spiritual work, is to be in that state more of the time. So here's what I do. First thing that happens in the Gottfried house is that I go upstairs to our kitchen. I make some tea. Right now it's green tea because I'm loving my green tea. And then I do 30 minutes of what I call chillaxin. So it's quiet time. Some people might call it meditation. Sometimes it looks like yoga. It just depends on what's happening for me. But what I do every time is I sit and I connect to that divine channel. So for me, it's focusing on my breath, slowing down my breath, breathing into the lower belly, as we talk about on pretty much every show, and slowing it down. So I'm taking about a 5-second inhale, 5-second exhale. I do that for 30 minutes. Sometimes I'm just sitting crisscross applesauce, legs crossed on the floor. Other times I'm doing yoga. I'll do yin yoga, maybe like 5 poses in that 30 minutes. So that's what I do. And here's what I found, Pedram. I actually just got back to this particular ritual. I did it a few years ago consistently every single morning for about 3 years. And it made such a difference in my life. Like I was less reactive. I was able to, really be the kind of person I wanted to be in my life. And then things slipped a little. And what happened when I gave up that morning ritual is that I wasn't as mindful about food. I wasn't as loving in my relationships. I didn't have the gratitude that came after the morning ritual. So I decided to bring it back in. So that is morning ritual, at least, today's day 10 of this particular morning ritual.
I love that. Yeah, it's funny because you gain a certain amount of momentum on a morning ritual. And it could take anywhere from a few days to a few months to kind of run out of that steam and realize that your life isn't working the same way it was. And by the time you wake up to that, you're like, oh crap, I should probably be doing my morning ritual. But then it's like you got to kind of warm the engine back up. And in my old age, I've learned to keep spinning the wheel. Right? It's just you get to the point where you realize that it's a lot more work to kind of restart the engine and get things moving again than it is to just kind of keep going and having your thing that you're kind of programmed in for. I kind of, mine is. I'll have to dig a little further back into a little history with mine because mine's a little elaborate.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah. Can't wait.
So as you know, I was a Taoist monk for 4 years, and I studied with a number of Qigong masters. But the main Qigong set that I practice is from our lineage, and it goes. I'm one of the, I think, 3 people living on the planet that actually know the whole system, and it's just this thing that I've spent 20 years training into. And the first series of that whole system, it has 31 exercises, and it takes about an hour and a half to do. And you know what? In the old monk days, no problem. You get up, you contemplate your navel, you kind of pray for world peace and all that. But now I'm in the runningwell.org days, and there's less time to do that, and I'm not going to get up at 4. So there's like a short set that you do that's only 5 exercises. And so what I do is I get up, and the rule is you cannot urinate or defecate until you do this, because it reabsorbs the qi from the kidneys and kind of gets you reoriented. And one of the really kind of masterful things that they did in making that rule, let's just assume that the whole qi thing is BS for a second and they're just trying to trick you into doing your stuff every day, is it gets you to become super aware first thing in the morning, because it's the easiest thing to do is to fall asleep around your biology, right? It's like, you stumble out of the bed, you pee, you come back into bed, and you're back down, you hit snooze a few more times. But if I have to actually snap out of it and come to and pay attention before just one of my rote biological functions every day, it'll grab my attention, right? And so I've been doing this for 20 years, and I just, it's what I do, and the chi that you get from it, the power and the clarity you get from it's great. And then I'll sit for somewhere around 20 minutes afterwards and kind of visualize my day. I'll go through the Emerald Tablet of Hermes and kind of run through my 1 through 10 there, and I guess we'll volley back and I could get into that. But it's a very, very powerful way of getting your day started, is doing something that intercepts your biology. I think that's why, in our temple training, it's why you have to sit around and meditate during every meal, because it's really easy to scarf down a meal if that's something that you've fallen asleep to.
Okay, I definitely want to hear about this. Are you talking about Hermes, the scarf?
Yeah, of course. Or the $30,000 purse. That's what I'm talking about.
I don't speak French, so I don't know how to say it.
Hermes.
Okay, there you go. Okay, you speak French, of course. So this is really good, and I like the intercept your biology. In fact, I think I'm gonna call it that. So when you came to visit Pedram, you were doing that down in the guest suite?
Oh yeah, 100%. There has not been a morning for well over a decade. I mean, I've missed a couple here and there where you're like, oh my God, I messed up. But what I do is a thing called a gong, which is you set yourself up on a 100-day ritual. And basically you say, look, these are the 5 things I'm going to do every single day for 100 days. And if I miss it, I start over. And when you miss day 46, it really hurts to start over. And so what it does is it forces you, it jump starts you into becoming more aware. And so it boots your self-care kind of in on the front of your operating system. So you're not like running through your circumstances and then saying, "Oh, damn it, I got to meditate." Like the meditation becomes like the pillar of your day, and then everything kind of ripples out from there, and that leads to much healthier, more conscious days, in my opinion.
Oh, this is delicious. I really appreciate this very much. So my next one, I have a couple that I also do every morning, and this I've been doing for a very long time. This is my Oprah tip, and I can't remember exactly where it came from, but it was Oprah talking to somebody. You know, maybe it was Toni Morrison, maybe it was Conversations with Gail. I don't know what it was, but she talked about how when you greet your children in the morning, you want to drop everything and just like shine your love lights on them. And I love this. I love this. You know, it's just the concept that, as you know, when you have children, you have this responsibility to really have them feel secure and so loved. And I can get a little distracted in the morning. You know, I get focused on getting those lunches together, what's happening today. I get my own breakfast together and that for my kids. But I found this idea of really, you know, my kids come up the stairs, they come to the kitchen, and I just drop everything. I look straight into their eyes and I just say, "Good morning. Oh my gosh, I love you." You know, we give snuggle bunnies, we have a hug and a kiss. I also use this on my husband. It's very effective. I hope he doesn't listen to this podcast, and then he'll be on to me. So that's ritual number 2 from my side. Ritual number 3 for our listeners.
Love that. Yeah, you know, until about a month ago, I would have had no idea about that ritual. But now, you know, with the baby, one of the things that we found is my wife's such a trooper. She's been kind of like handling most of, like, you know, look, she's got the boobs. You know, it's like I can't help the baby.
She's got way more than the boobs. I have
well,
to say.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. But when the baby's screaming for milk, I'm less useful, and we're trying to stay more on the natural side. And so, you know, she'll kind of, you know, she'll take that hit at night. And so I just said, you know what, 7 to 9 a.m. I'm going to take the kid before anyone shows up to help or whatever. And it's just, you know, daddy's time with the baby. And very much like what you were saying is I just love bomb them, you know, and sometimes we'll just kind of like cuddle and kind of nap together. But, you know, I'll sync up our heart rates, and I'll just, you know, go chest to chest, look them in the eyes, tell them I love them, and just hang and really kind of water that flower from the very earliest days of his life. And it's been very powerful and meaningful, because then you spin out into your day, and you're off doing whatever you're doing. You come back with a couple arrows through you, and, you know, your days are whatever they are, depending on what you do in your life, right? And it would be very easy to have neglected the kid all day, but I get 2 quality hours before anyone's up, and I do that. But I'll piggyback that on what my actual ritual used to be and still is take the dogs on a walk, and don't check your email, don't check your texts.
Right.
Go spend some time with the animals, get some fresh air, listen to the bird song, and understand what nature is doing and how it's blossoming into that day around you, so that you understand your place in the world.
Oh, so good. And I really, you know, we keep talking about getting back to the now, you know, being in the present moment, because that's really where our lives take off. It's really where the healing happens. It's where we have our best relationship moments, our best connections with others, our best ideas. And that I can just really see you with your baby soul, you know, just that 7 to 9 a.m. getting into the now in such a powerful way. I love it.
It's so pure. It's so pure. Thank you for that. And you inspired a lot of that, by the way, because I listen. But yeah, it's so pure, because it's your child, and you know, it's like every neuron that's developing, every semblance of consciousness that's coming in is either going to be one of fear or one of love, and so what's it going to be?
Yeah. Oh, this is good. This actually reminds me of something I learned from Marianne Williamson, where she talked about how we can learn from pain or we can learn from joy. Which do you want? And so the more that we get intentional about these rituals and about bringing in the joy, we crowd out the pain. And I think that is such a powerful choice for our listeners today. So another ritual, I would love to talk about a ritual I learned from Marianne Williamson. I haven't been practicing it myself, and if we have time, I'll get into that. If not, I'll stick it in maybe our resource page. But I want to bring in a super simple ritual because, I talked about my quiet time for 30 minutes. Some people are just going to roll their eyes and just be like, yeah, right, that's not going to happen.
What a luxury, right?
What a luxury. But here's something I was able to do just consistently for about when did Sonic Care first come out? I think it was like 10 years ago or something. So that toothbrush that is supposed to be so much better in terms of getting the grime off your teeth and helping your microbiome. It has this pattern for brushing your teeth that started at 2 minutes. My toothbrush now is 3 minutes. And so I do a wall sit while I am brushing my teeth with the Sonic Care. It's timed, so I know that it's a full 3 minutes. And I do a wall sit, and you can't use your arms. You have to sit, with your knees at a right angle at the wall. And it's just a way for me to connect to my core and use that 3 minutes. I'm not a big fan of multitasking, but it just helps me not zone out while I'm doing this ritual. And just like, I think of cleansing. I think of, the teeth brushing and the bathing that we do each day. I think of these rituals as being a psychic cleanse, like a psychic teeth brushing. That's what my morning quiet time, my chillaxin time is really all about. It's kind of this reset button, this psychic bath that I take for 30 minutes. And then I'm, literally bathing my teeth with the Sonic Care and doing a wall sit.
I love that. That, to me, it's a very powerful understanding of how reality works in how you intercept it. Again, we've talked about this in multiple shows, and I think that maybe we can elaborate a little bit more here. One of my favorite quotes from Milton Erickson, who is the psychiatrist who invented or discovered, I guess, hypnotherapy, in the trance state, really by just observing what happens to people when they kind of get inducted, was, he did this, he was helping, thousands and thousands of people, and this lady in an interview said, hey, what's it like putting people in trance all the time? He's like, whoa, I think you're missing it. That's not what I do. I mean, I spend all my time trying to take these poor people out of their trances.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
and
yes.
we're all like either programmed or it's our human nature, whatever, we could get into that discussion, but to stumble around like zombies is to shut off and go rote. It's like to go, oh, here's that breakfast thing again. I'm going to think about my bills, or I'm going to think about my day, or what she said last night, and just, shovel in some cereal or whatever it is that we've been trained to just, automatically, assume as food, and then stumble out and have our days with a cup of coffee. And that, I think, has led to a healthcare crisis. I think it's led to a family, civil life crisis. It's led to a lot of things, because if you're stumbling through life unaware and unawake, you will make bad decisions. You will hurt people. There will be a fallout. And I think that what we're talking about, the intercepts that happen first thing in the morning, are one of the powerful ways of starting that. But you got to kind of pre-program things the rest of the day to also keep some of that going.
Yeah, so good. I totally agree about this trance state. I think I really appreciate that quote. I think maybe we should add some quotes to our resource page so that people can, get a reminder, because we need a reminder on a daily basis. Sometimes I need an hourly reminder of, are you in a trance state? How do we get out of it? Like, let's come back to the present moment. So I think this is such an important piece. And these rituals are really designed to get us conscious again, to get us, back into the present moment. Now, do you want to add another ritual, Pedram, or should I give this Marianne Williamson? What you got?
Give the Marianne Williamson. I got a bunch of crap that I do. Like, I'll do Tai Chi while the dogs are playing in the yard and playing fetch and all that. And I'll just quickly say that the reason I do that is because Tai Chi makes me feel awesome, and gets my legs going, and so part of the reason why you do your wall squats and all that is like just get the big muscles activated first thing in the morning, pushes testosterone, does all kinds of wonderful things. But one of the most useful things that I've found in my own personal practice is the integration of up, down, left, right, the integration of my nervous system into my body as I come back into it in my waking hours, so that then I'm just more focused, I'm more clear, and I'm firing on all cylinders throughout the day, instead of kind of getting up, loading up the desktop computer up here, but the body's kind of like 3 miles behind, but don't worry, we're going to go to the gym tonight. It's just a bad way to drag your body along through your day. And the best way I've found is to integrate mind, body, and spirit first thing in the morning, and then all day you're on, man. You're feeling much more clear, and even if the baby kept you up all night, you're not miserable. You get through your days and you're still effective.
Well, I want to confirm this this integration that is part of your morning ritual, because when you were visiting, we headed off to the gym, and you made me stand on that Bosu thing. What's that called? Bosu?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah. It's the Bosu ball, the half Swiss ball. Yeah, the Bosu ball.
You made me do this right-left thing and arms and legs, and I was just like, what? I can't do this. So my integration was not so good. So Marianne Williamson, I am a big fan. She's running for Congress. Here's her latest book, A Year of Miracles. And I heard an interview. She did an interview on Hay House in January where she talked about a morning ritual that is from Course in Miracles. And I still have on my to-do list at some point, I'm going to do Course in Miracles. But it's a simple practice where you ask yourself 3 things in the morning. And here's the 3 things. Number 1, and the idea here is that you're speaking to your higher power. Number 1, where would you have me go? Number 2, what would you have me do? And then number 3, what would you have me say and to whom? And I really love this ritual because, and I've been working with it a bit in my quiet time, my chillaxin time, because I think it's a very powerful way to not only get out of the trance state, but then to ask, how can I be of service? And this is a really important point because, this is a bit paradoxical. I love, getting into the paradox with you, Pedram. I don't know if there's anyone I enjoy doing it with more. But this idea that, when you're depleted and, life sucks and it's dark and you don't have energy to really accomplish your mission, there's a way that when you become of service, it actually energizes you in maybe the deepest way possible. So I really like to bring that into my ritual somehow. I have to say it doesn't happen every single day, but it's something that I'm working to bring in more often.
You know what? It's actually, as far as I'm concerned, the secret sauce to life, right? It's like the lamp, once plugged in, lights up, right? And when you make the why bigger than you, all of a sudden, really, really powerful things start happening because it's never about you. It's about all the life around you. It's about being of service. And so, the Course in Miracles is a very powerful body of work. I highly recommend it. I did it back in my early 20s, and I think I'm due for a redo because it's just, that stuff is deep, man. It's like you could read that over and over again and get value out of every page. So it's a phenomenal book. It's big, but they have it's a full year thing that you would have just wisdom dumped into your psyche every single day that helps kind of reprogram all of the silly kind of nonsensical memes that we've taken on, because really, and I hate that we keep running out of time. We could do this for days. The problem is, if you were to actually be able to shut down your mental computer every night and like reboot so you could heal your body and do all the things that sleep does, and we've talked about sleep plenty on the show, is then when you open up, what windows are automatically loading, and what is your program that you're running, and how's that operating system running, and all that type of stuff. And most people don't think about that. So they'll just get up and just stumble through day after day after day, wondering why their lives aren't changing, why they're not getting the results that they claim they want, and all these types of things. And I think that what we'll do is we'll publish some more morning rituals on the show. But I think that we cannot overemphasize how important this is. I mean, Sarah and I are incredibly busy people. We've both had, certain measures of success in our lives and all that. And I think I have to attribute a lot of what I do to my morning routine, because if not, I don't think I could have stayed focused. I don't think I could keep doing what I do and remembering what's important every day without checking in every morning.
Yeah, such a good point. Such a good point. Should I do a quick sexy librarian moment so that we can recap? So I've got 7 here. Number 1, I'm going to count Wayne Dyer. So if it works for you to wake up, put your feet on the floor and say, thank you, thank you, thank you, more power to you. I'm aiming in that direction. Number 2, get up and give yourself a psychic bath. So for me, I do it for 30 minutes. Sometimes it's yin yoga. Sometimes it's just sitting cross-legged and doing a meditation, focusing on my breathing. Number 3 was yours, Taoist monk short set. So this is 5 exercises where you're talking about intercepting your biology. So you delay pooping and peeing until you get these 5 exercises done. And then I think you said you sit for 20 minutes and breathe. And that's where you called it the Emerald Tablet of Hermes or whatever it is. Maybe we'll do another show on that one. Number 4, take dogs for a walk. I love that one. Number 5, wall sit. Do that while you're brushing your teeth. Number 6, qigong. And Pedram, you talked about this right-left integration, up, down, arm, leg, just making sure that you've got these major muscles firing, and also that you have the brain integration. I think that is beautiful. And then number 7, we brought in the Course in Miracles, reprogramming the meme. I love that. So I gave the 3 questions that I learned from Marianne Williamson, and we'll post those on the resource page. So Pedram, back to you. I think we are out of time.
Yeah, we're just tailing out here. I just wanted to say that I don't want to forget the one point that I think is probably the most important point, which is seeding love into your children, which you mentioned but didn't make the list.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Number 8.
because that to me is just so powerful, paying it forward into the next generation and just getting used to spreading love first thing in the morning. And if you do it for your children and your spouse, then hopefully you'll keep doing it for your workmates and the guy who just merged in your lane on the road.
Speaking of road rage, yes.
Speaking of road rage. Awesome. Guys, visit us at healthbridgeshow.com. We're chucking all these resources up as fast as we can. We're here to serve. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.